Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. I know there's a World Series going on, but I don't care about that right now, or at least for right now. I care about the main slate in DFS. It's week 8. We need to get paid. Guys, I know you don't want to hear this. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you what happened last week. The usual, the Dr. Roto usual. My lineup on Wednesday had St. Brown, Jefferson, Tillman, as well as Bowers and Kyron. And then I, of course, did the old, let me change it about 8 or 9 times. That cost me, dare I say, 5 figures of money because I didn't trust myself.
Oh, wow.
So please tell me that you guys had better weeks. Did you have a better week, Willie? Because I know Coker was snorting something on the sideline there because he wasn't playing.
But you know what? Me and Swame had really good weeks on FanDuel, and that Coker guy did his job to get us where we wanted to get because we was on a lot of those plays.
Did he have 1 catch?
No. What he's saying, Doc, is because we had Wilson, Najee, and Pickens going later, and then we filled it out with St. Brown and we had Justin Jefferson. He's saying that Coker allowed that. He didn't contribute to the team directly, but indirectly he allowed us to get in some stuff.
Well, the key to last week was fading Daniels, and I had Breece Hall and Pickens on FanDuel, which helped us cash. That's true. But, you know, sometimes you need to be a little lucky. So let's get to this week, guys. Let's start out at that game, Baltimore against Cleveland. So conceptually, DraftKings, I think, is much harder this season. The prices seem to have gone up. There's not as much value out there. The value right now, Swami, in this Cleveland game is Cleveland. It's Jameis, it's Judy, it's Tillman, it's Elijah Moore, it's Nick Chubb. But can we trust that value against your Baltimore Ravens?
I think it's a good shot. I'll say that. I don't think, again, Cleveland is playing well enough to say that it's something I feel really good about. But I will say that I think it's a shot. I think it's worth taking the shot. And hopefully, if Jameis can get something going with either Tillman or Judy, I think it could potentially be something, you know, that it's worth a shot, Doc. It's hard to kind of be confident in Cleveland right now, but it's worth a shot because if they could do something, surely you feel like Baltimore will be able to keep up with the Cleveland side. It's really if Cleveland can keep up. If Jameis can hit Njoku, if he can keep going and keep that thing going with Tillman, it's possible. They do got Nick Chubb. So it's some way I could probably talk myself into it. Obviously, I'm trying to get past my Raven bias and the stinkiness that the Browns have been producing. But I think it's worth a shot.
Willie, I think this may be the key to the slate. Using Cleveland potentially may open up the doors to it's like using Coker and FanDuel. You need the cheap people to open up the doors to the expensive guys. Are you using Cleveland or are you using another team?
No, I think Cleveland is interesting. Matter of fact, one of the stinkiest or you could call a vomit stack is, you know, playing Winston, Tillman, and Njoku, and that vomit stack. Because listen, one thing you want is you want points. Now, I mean, listen, we don't care how it happens. Like you saw what happened against the Ravens. First of all, the Ravens are just the best team, man. They are just stacked, But we saw what happened. The way to even penetrate the Ravens is by the pass. And one thing Jameis will do is he will sling that ball, So he will sling it. He gonna throw something to the Ravens too. Don't get it twisted. But missing 12 targets is nothing to sneeze at 3,300. And Winston can throw that ball down the field. The Ravens have given up a lot of plays over 20 yards to the pass catcher. So I'm just saying, the only thing that you need to be wary of. Remember when Winston came in the game, his favorite target was Judy. It wasn't Tillman, it was Judy. So a lot of Tillman stuff was done before Winston came in the game. So just remember that, But Njoku is definitely, I think, is a man of interest in this game for sure against the Ravens. You saw what Cotton, did for Tampa Bay. That's the way. That's the only way that you beat the Ravens is through the tight end. Not to beat the Ravens. They're not going to beat the Ravens, but I think at the price point, I think they are a very interesting team to play in this slate.
I think you're right about Judy, by the way. Judy just seems a little annoyed on the sidelines. And Jameis is one of those guys that if you're annoyed, he is going to try to feed you that football. I think Judy is this. I think people will be on Tillman. I don't want to be on Tillman. I want to be on Judy. All right, let's keep going, guys. Indianapolis against Houston. Man, Houston laid a big, stinky, smelly egg. Stroud, we talked about being outside with Stroud. People poo-pooed me, but I kind of wasn't wrong about that. Tank Dell dropped a pass in the end zone. Dalton Schultz called one pass, and that was the end of it. Indianapolis just has Richardson, who's could be good, but we haven't seen it, Willie. Any interest in any pieces in this game?
The only one I have interest in is give me the running back for Houston. He's a man of interest, He is definitely a man of interest, for sure. Now, because some other things broke late, I probably won't have as much as Mixon, but he's a guy you could play. But, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't want anything else, for Houston in this game.
Swame, Colts are really bad against tight ends. Is Dalton Schultz in play? Is Stephon Diggs in play? Mixon, what do you like?
I like Mixon a lot. I think that they're going to continue to kind of lean on him, especially when they got the big fella still out. I think if they continue to lean on him, he's probably close to a lock for me. I don't know who Willie got going later on that he's really interested in, but I think he ran well in the first game. I think I might be able to talk myself into some Richardson, I think, as well. That first game, he was decent in there. I think him and Pierce did a little bit, so they might draw some interest from me. Not really sure about how healthy Pittman is right now. I think Downs is probably the guy over there, but I would say Mixon for sure, and then maybe some Richardson. I would be interested.
Can I ask a question about Richardson? Can we use, let's say we like Tyreek Hill, and let's say we like a Chan, for example. Do we want to put Tua, or can we put a Richardson with those two guys to try to maximize points? I'll go to you first, Roman. Can you do a play like that, or do you prefer the stack instead?
You saying Richardson and who's on the other side?
I'm giving an example. I'm saying, let's say a Chan and Tyreek, but instead of using Tua, could we use a Richardson who has a higher ceiling than a Tua? Because Tua is not mobile.
I think you could do something like that because Richardson is the wild card there, and then you're assuming that Tyreek Hill, who showed up on the injury report late and then didn't practice. I know you just give an example. I think so. I think we've seen where some folks have done either like you're not really sure who the quarterback might go to with Love this week, for an example, and then you could then take the other side if Jacksonville was playing better. But again, in theory, Doc, I think you could look at doing something like that. I don't know if I love it as much. I would even rather take the chance with Tua because I think he would, even though he doesn't run, I think if he came in and started slinging the ball around, he might be decent at his price.
Willie, just answering that question, can you run a naked Richardson and use it with other big pieces, or do you prefer to game stack instead?
No, I would, excuse me, I am not on Mr. Richardson. Now, I tell you who I would run a naked one that makes sense is using Love for Green Bay. If you put Love in that same position, because he's a spreader, but he could throw 4 touchdowns in this game coming up. So I think it will work better with a person like Love.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's talk about that game. Green Bay and Jacksonville, 49.5 points, Willie. I mean, do we love? And if so, I know we're afraid. Dobbs has gotten a ton of touchdowns, but that seems like the luck should run out. Is this a Christian Watson week? Is this a Jaden Reed week? Is this a Josh Jacobs week? How are you playing it?
Well, first of all, I will not be using Jacobs because sneaky. The Jacksonville has been better against the run. They have been better against the run. The way you beat Jacksonville is through the pass. And I think Love is in a phenomenal spot today. I think he's the man of interest. And I think that, the guy that's on the field more than anybody is Ben Dobbs. He's been on the field more than anybody. He's playing more than anybody, when they in two receiver sets, three receiver sets. That's when Jaden Reed come in the three receiver sets. So that's the interesting part of this. And like I said, Love is definitely and what they do is they just rather throw the ball for a touchdown than run the ball for a touchdown. I mean, Jacobs is core. I mean, he's got one rushing touchdown all year long. One rushing touchdown. Plus, Jacksonville has been better. They've been better against the run. So I think the way Green Bay is going to handle it is they've been getting gashed against the pass, and I think Love will do that this week.
I agree with Neural Skyway, Swami. I think this could be a Christian Watson week. If Jacksonville runs a lot of man coverage, Christian Watson and man coverage, boom time. Who do you like in this game?
I like Watson. I think he got the matchup. I like Love for sure. I'm not mad at Dobbs. I'm not interested in Jacobs. And I think on the other side, it looks like, the rookie is the clear-cut kind of favorite. Christian Kirk is kind of falling out. I think Ingram will still kind of be involved. But I did want to add that little rebuttal in there to Walls, just related to Mr. Richardson, who almost has 100 yards rushing in 2 games and 3 rushing touchdowns against Houston. And he's also added some love through the air. I'm talking about Mr. Richardson, Ed, who I know you have not put a little bit of respect on his name. He might not be great in all matchups in other games, but he seems to play the Texans pretty well. Anyway, so now back to this game. Again, Love is probably my favorite quarterback on the slate, but Willie's concerned about who to put him with. I think, hey, why not Watson and Dobbs? Take your shot there, and then if you want to come back with the rookie in Jacksonville, you might have something there.
I also like Evan Engram. I think Evan Engram's in a really good spot this week. And the Texans just could not. I mean, they went to Schultz literally on the 3rd play of the game for 28 yards, and then they forgot about him. That was a crime, literally a crime.
All
right.
This week, He's in a better spot. He's got a great matchup, Schultz, this week.
Great matchup. I love him. All right. Tennessee against Detroit. Detroit is an 11.5-point favorite. However, lots going on here, lots to unpack. DeAndre Hopkins, gone. What else here? Jameson Williams not playing. Does this become a Lions run fest? Do we like Amon-Ra St. Brown? You can throw on the Titans. The Titans have Mason Rudolph, but Calvin Ridley was injured, but now he's playing. What's going on here? Are the Lions the lock of the week?
Listen, I'm not playing a lot from this game. I mean, because I think the Lions are going to just spank the hell out of them. I think it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly early. I don't want my running back sipping on Gatorade in the second half. So I just think this is going to get ugly early. And, and at that price points, it's going to be a no thank you in this game. I just think that I think Detroit is just going to be a motorboat. So Tennessee stinks. They stink. No thank you. I'm not touching nothing in this game.
Swami, is Nick Westbrook-Akine for $3,000 remotely in play? And is there anybody else that you like?
Doc, I'd probably play Westbrook in the NBA first.
Russell Westbrook. All right, I'll put him in my lineup. Like that. He's fast.
I just can't play anybody from the Titans. And now the offense that was already bad is in a bad matchup, and they at least both their receivers don't seem like they'll be available. We know one for sure, and the other one is bad.
What about Tyler Boyd? Tyler Boyd at 3,900 against the Lions in the slot there. That's not a terrible play. I think it's going to be an overlooked play. People are looking at Tillman. They're not looking at Boyd. Boyd knows the Callahan offense. Anything there?
I will overlook him too.
And there's something there. If I was to consider a piece, Boyd would be a man of interest. I still don't like Rudolph. And I don't like with Tennessee, with that running clock, with them just pounding the ball. And that game will be one of the first games off. Right,
3:48, the game's over. Totally, right? Yeah. All right. Atlanta against Tampa. Now, look, I think a lot of people are going to go back to this game from a few weeks ago and assume it's going to be high scoring. I'm not assuming that, guys. I'm assuming that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to need to run more without their receivers. They're going to throw shorter passes. Jalen McMillan has struggled a little bit. I think we're overvaluing him, right? I'm not saying he's bad. Could this game blow up? Absolutely. This game could blow up. But I just see that you got to keep the Atlanta defense on the field, Willie. And I think this is more Rachaad White. This is more Cade Otton. This is like short little dink and dunk down the field and not Baker taking shots like he has been.
This game could be over at 3:30. This game could be over at 3:15. When they running the ball. I just think that listen, if you want to take a shot at McMillan, I get it. As a one-off, that will make your lineups work. But Rashad, listen, I know what he did last week against the Ravens, and he was very fortunate. But I just think that they're going to spread it between the three backs. They're going to try to shorten this game. I guarantee you that. And then Atlanta might just join them in a fast. And I think Atlanta, this might be a 20-10 game that's over at 3:30. And then you got nobody that went off. So I'm not going to anybody big in this game.
So I mean, this is true. The offensive coordinator did say to McMillan, "It's your week. It's your time to shine." I think the guy's going to be at least 10 to 12% owned at that price. I'm going to fade him. I'm going to, look, I like him in seasonal. I'm fading him in DFS. Thoughts on this game?
Well, first thought is that Willie is wrong. You say, why do you think Willie's wrong, Doc? Well, first, I always think Willie's wrong because it makes for a great show. But anyway, the last time Rachaad White had 10, he had 7.2 yards per carry. Baker had 6. He was 7 yards per carry. Bucky Irvin with 9. He was almost 5 yards per carry. They ran the ball. I don't think they'll be able to run the ball better than 5, 7, and 7 yards per carry. And only thing it meant was that Baker didn't have to throw it as much. He only had 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was 19 for 24 passing. Very efficient day for that offense. It still was a 30-36 game. I don't think they're going to be able to get away from passing the ball. I think the moment that they do that, I think what you saw even last week, their offense is going to struggle if they don't have the threat of a Mike Evans and the threat of a Chris Godwin. So just saying that you want to run the ball is great, right? Willie would love to say he's going to take down a tournament this weekend, but just because you say it, it doesn't matter. We're going to run. We're going to shoot. No, you're going to have to still throw the ball. He's going to take some shots, and they got a couple of receivers, and I think McMillan's one of them. I think Trey's another one. These guys got some speed. They're going to have to use it, and that's where the big plays are going to come from, folks not expecting them to throw the ball and not respecting that passing game as if it was if they were in there. Now, will it pan out, Doc? Because if you look what they did last time, it wasn't a lot to the receivers, but this time I think they'll have to throw it more because I don't think they're just going to let you, and I'm talking about the Falcons, just line up and run the ball.
All right, let's talk about Cade Otton for a second. He is 3,500. Everybody's going to go to him. I think this guy can get steamed up to 15 to 18%. He's a fade for me, not because he's not a good player, but I just don't want to be on any tight end that's 15 to 18% owned. Willie, yes or no? Are you playing Cade Otton?
I will have him in a he's not going to be a core, but he'll be in a couple now on FanDuel. The guy that I'm locking in is, I think they made a mistake on the price, is Kincaid at $4,000. I think he's $4,000 on FanDuel. So he will be my lock, and then when we talk at the end, that will make somebody else a couple of guys that I'm interested in that game, that Dallas game.
Swame, Cade Otton, you playing or not?
I like the Otton play. It's kind of low risk at that price. I'm not bad with Disley or Pitts, but shows it's just Njoku. But they all are a little bit more expensive than him. I think he's still going to probably get a decent amount of targets this week with those new guys in there. So it's right now I'm leaning more towards playing Otton than not. All
right, let's get to the Jets against New England. Breece Hall if I'm not mistaken, is $7,900, and he is the 8th running back. 8th. It feels like DraftKings is saying, Doc, please play Breece Hall. When that happens, that worries me because it's almost too obvious. Do I play Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson for some leverage, or do I play Breece Hall, Swami? Which way do I go?
I think Breece Hall is in a decent spot. I'm not mad at Breece Hall. I don't like it as much because I still feel like that passing game. I'm just saying, I feel like they still have something to prove with these with Devontae Adams and them all working together. And I feel like this could be a week where they want to kind of showcase and emphasize what they can do when they all kind of involved in not dropping passes. So for that reason, I just don't know if they'll focus on Breece. They probably should. Breece is still a good play, but I just feel like they're going to do something goofy here. But
Willie, nobody's talking Ramondre Stevenson. Nobody's talking anybody in the Patriots. The Jets defense has not been great. I'm not saying that Drake May is good, but this Jets defense has been below average. Can we play any Patriot? Can we play this game? Can this game be the sneaky game that maybe puts on more points than people think?
No, thank you on any Patriots. So I hear what you're saying, but no, thank you on any Patriots. Now, Breece Hall is definitely in play, but the one thing that I like about Breece Hall is he's catching a lot of passes. He's catching a lot of passes. Rodgers is dumped that ball down to him. And have you heard Braylon Allen's name lately? Have you heard his name? It's been mostly Breece and Breece. And I think the fact that they want to win, as long as Breece Hall doesn't take himself out of the game, he's going to be in the game. He's in a great spot, so I'm definitely going to have some Breece Hall in this game.
All right, let's get to a potentially big game this week, guys. The Eagles against the Bengals. So last week we had the Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown game, and those are the guys that took down tournaments. This week, is it A.J. Brown? Is it Chase? Is it Devonta? Is it Higgins? Is it Saquon, Willie? There's a lot of fantasy goodness in here if you choose right. Who are you choosing in this game?
The person that I would choose in this game would be who was terrible the last game. Where was Devontae Smith? Where was he? He was missing in action. Didn't do anything. I think this is the type of game that it's going to work one of two ways. It's going to shoot out, or it's going to disappoint. But let me say this: for the first time in 2 games, both teams will be pushed. Swami always talks about, if the other team can you push the other team? I think both offenses can eat it in this game, and this will be a game that can be a very, very, very interesting game. I don't mind having a Barkley. I don't mind having a Barkley, Devontae Smith, and you run it back with Higgins. You can play Chase. I think you can play anybody in this game. I think this is a very interesting game. I think this game has a possibility because both games have been lackluster because they have not met in a match. But I think this is a game where it could be pushed, and I think this game could definitely shoot out. So I will definitely have a few interests in this game.
Swami, this game could shoot out, except it's going to cost you literally your life savings to play it.
Doc, well, here's the good news. This game is unlikely to shoot out. I think this game will probably be a scrap. I still don't think the Bengals are playing well enough. And we saw the Eagles kind of struggle against the Giants, even though we know that's more of a divisional kind of fight. It's a lot to say there's a lot of unclean play in these games so far. And these are some of the teams that feel like they'll land us right back in that same spot. I think Barkley's in a good spot with that being said, and I like Brown. I think those 2 guys, if I had to pick one, it would be Brown. I think Barkley will still do what he does and probably will break the game open. And on the other side, I don't like much of anybody on the other side. I know Danger, I know Willie, and others seem to like the Bengals side. I don't think they're playing well, and they're very expensive.
They are expensive, but it just feels like this may be the game you had to have, Swami. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. And I got FOMO all over this game. That's my problem. I got FOMO everywhere here. All right, let's talk about another game here. Arizona against Miami. When Tua is right, Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, Achan, yes, please, yes, please, yes, please. Swame, out of those four guys, which of them are you playing? Are you bringing back Connor, who runs pretty well against Miami's type of, run defense, or do you just fade all Cardinals and go all in on Miami?
So first, is Tyreek Hill injured or not?
He's playing. He's playing.
All right. So the one I'm most interested in would be Tyreek Hill. I love his price on DK, and I'm sure he is hungry to get back into the fight. I'm not as interested as any of the other pieces, with the one exception maybe being Tua and maybe being Waddle. Other than that, if you tried to make me take somebody off of this Cardinals team, it would probably be Connor, but I would fight you tooth and nail, Doc. I'd fight you hard to not do anything with him or anybody else on that offense.
Willie, are you in on Tyreek? He's so cheap, 7,000. It's almost like DraftKings is saying, please pay him.
I think it was a misprice. Knowing that Tua's coming back, because let me tell you, I love but the only thing that I will give the caution to the wind is the only thing that could derail is if Arizona. I know, just like last week, I didn't think Connor was going to do what he did. And the only way to shorten that game is if Connor gets all those touches. But I'm going to have 80% Tyreek Hill. So if he doesn't do it again, he'll kill me, because that's the guy who will be in most of my lineups is Mr. Tyreek Hill. He can't. This is the matchup for him. He's ready to explode. Listen, he's well rested. I'll tell you that. He's been well rested with the quarterback play that they've had, and I think. Now, I thought Waddle was going to be injured, but, I was going to say A-Chain would be interesting. But A-Chain is still a little interesting in this game. Those two, I can see playing a little A-Chain, but the one that's going to be mostly locked is Tyreek Hill.
Willie, we have a very good question here from our friend Permar. Now, I think 80% is a little dramatic, but let's assume that Tyreek is 50% owned. Do you just say, look, game theory says fade him, maybe he pulls a muscle or something like that? Or do you just say, you know what, screw it, I'm in. If I lose, I lost with Tyreek Hill in my lineup. Swami, play him or bench him?
Doc, that's a Walls question, Doc, because he looks at that. If Tyreek gives me 40, I could care what his ownership is. I look at what I think he's going to give me.
Willie, play him or bench him?
No. I'm playing him, but my whole point is, I said I would have him 80% of my life.
No. I'm raising a different question. I'm saying if he's 50% owned, you play him.
I'm playing him. I'm playing Tyreek Hill. I don't care, because I know at his peak, when he was almost 9,000, we was playing him, and he could get you 40, and now he's 7,000. He ain't gonna be 7,000 no more. They're gonna raise him up 1,500 next week. He'll be back to 85. Because Tua's back.
And the problem, if you don't have him and he go for 40, it's probably
night. It's true. Well, right. If you don't have him, it's over. If you do have him and he stinks, you're still with the other, 40% of people, and you got to try to hopefully be right somewhere else. Yep. All right. New Orleans against the Chargers. Chargers were stinky poo-poo on Monday night. Really bad. You got to think, though, that the Chargers are going to come back, give the ball to J.K. Dobbins, play good defense, throw it a little bit. For the Saints, man, I don't know. Kamara signed. Taysom Hill should be back. Willie, this feels like a mess. It's J.K. or nothing for me.
That's it. Show's over. J.K. or another. I have no interest in nobody else. That's it.
Swami, do you agree with us?
I don't even like JK. This is a rugby football game. Give me the Chargers defense.
Yeah, I'm with you. Chargers defense. All right, let's get to Buffalo against Seattle. I think DK Metcalf does not play, but there's still a lot of guys in this game here. Josh Allen. Nobody's talking about Josh Allen this week. Geno Smith, James Cook, Kenneth Walker, JSN, Tyler Lockett, Cooper, Shakir, Swame. Lots of options. Are you playing any of them?
I think Walker and what Walls mentioned about Kincaid. If you ask me to take two pieces here, it would be Kenneth Walker and Kincaid, and I think I'll let you guys have the rest of it.
Willie, Buffalo's run defense is bad. Kenneth Walker should be able to eat in this one, should he not?
No, I mean he's like I said, this slate is going to be interesting because you got about 8 or 9 good options that you can play in this game. And Walker, listen, you saw what happens against Buffalo. You can run on Buffalo, so I think Kenneth Walker is in play. And I think I got an interest in another receiver that I think could be very interesting in this game.
Cooper?
Huh?
You thinking Cooper?
Is it Jake Bobo, Willie?
Little Bobo action.
Now, I thought you would say Cooper. I just need to see his targets increase before.
Yeah, he only had 5. Now I'm just saying that at the price point at 3,300, Bobo could be interesting because I don't think now if Metcalf plays, don't even talk about Bobo. I'm just talking about if Metcalf doesn't play.
I totally agree with that. I probably will have Bobo in one of my lineups and then just take him out. Late swap him. I'll pay the little. Now let me ask you this question, guys. Dalton Kincaid, 4,000. They're literally saying free square for you. But if I play him, I'm not playing Kelsey. I'm not playing Brock Bowers. I'm not playing Ingram. I mean, maybe I could use Kincaid as my flex. I get that. But could it cost me money, Willie, by playing him?
I mean, listen, it could be any tight end, but the way I look at it is, especially on FanDuel, there's a certain running back that I'm going to play against a certain team that I'm going to have in most of my lineups, and that $4,000 will serve its purpose for me. So that's why I said, listen, if you're going to make a mistake on Mr. Kincaid, guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put that lock button, boop, 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 lock button on it, and I'm going to go because I know
is that person happen to be playing a Sunday night game?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's a running back that I love against this team here. So
now, by the way, Permar says Bowers is a 6+ wide receiver on the slate. He has been phenomenal against Kansas City. So, Swame, I'll ask you the same question about Kincaid. Is he a must play for you on FanDuel?
I think I agree with Willie. I don't think you can get away from this price. Remember, Kincaid is still getting 6 or 7 targets a game over the last 4 or 5 games. It's not like he's not getting targeted. With him, it's just a matter of can he get the look in the red zone? For some reason, they get down there and they love to give it to Cook.
Swami, if he goes 3 for 43 and gets you 4.8 points, are you winning anything?
No, but that's not the game that I have. You know how you guys like the Bengals and maybe Philly? I feel like this game has some possibilities too for some points. And I don't have it being one where Kincaid is only going 3 for 20 or 4.
I think this is a sneaky game. I agree with you. I think this is a very sneaky game. All right, let's keep on moving here, guys. 3 more to talk about. Actually, 4 more to talk about. Kansas City against Las Vegas. Don't say no yet, Willie, because I'm going to give you some guys. Is this a Kareem Hunt week? Is this a Kelsey week? Is this a Mahomes week? Is this a Brock Bowers week? Can I go Bowers-Kelsey and try to get about 20 points from both those guys? Thoughts, Willie?
I tell you, if you're going to do that, I will talk about somebody else that I think will be very interesting. If you're going to play Bowers, I think he's going to be let out of jail. Mr. Hopkins, if he's playing this week, I think he's a very, very, very interesting guy in this game. I think that, DeAndre, listen, this guy has been let out of jail. All of a sudden, just like, his hamstring, whatever was ailing him, I don't think it's ailing him no more. I think he'll be playing this game, and he gets to play with Mr. Mahomes.
Guys, who was the guy that worked for us who was our injury expert, Billy? Can't remember his last name, but he used to work at the Texans. You know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. I remember the guy that, yeah.
And he used to say that Hopkins never liked to practice. He would just show up on game days, and all of a sudden he played just fine. He was in the training room all week and just show up on Sunday.
Yeah, but listen, just think about it, Doc. You going from Tennessee to the Chiefs, and Andy Reid already got some special plays cooked up in this game for Hopkins. You know that. Come on, man. He's got somebody that has catch radius that's going to feel all of a sudden, like I said, he will be rejuvenated playing with this team. So I think he's an interesting player in this game.
Swame, Bowers, Kelsey, Mahomes. We haven't said Mahomes' name once this year. Is he in play? Is Hopkins in play? Talk to me.
Doc, I like the addition of Mr. Hopkins, but right now I think the Chiefs are just on some, hey, just win kind of championship thing. They're not really looking at stats or the scoreboard like that. They just putting together wins and hoping they can get healthy. And tell Patrick Mahomes again, who has, the expectations for him this season, from a fantasy perspective, he's just not there. And so it's nothing to make me believe that they're going to be explosive this week. They're going to hand it off to Kareem Hunt. They might get Hopkins the ball a few times or get it to Kelsey a few times, and they're going to get out of there. It's nothing. The Raiders won't be able to push them at best. The familiarity with the Chiefs might keep the score down a little bit, but there's no reason to play anybody here. Bowers is interesting. Continue to get that target share. You like him, but again, that offense is awful, and I don't know if you have to have him in A, though he's a great player.
All right, Carolina and Denver. I'm going to give you another version that could lead us. Don't give me that nod, Willie Walls, until I finish. If I play Knicks, Javonte, and let's say Sutton or Franklin or somebody, I could get 60 points from those three and still be on pace to win money. Even if I go with Lucas Kroll at tight end, something ridiculous for 2,700. Are those three guys so cheap that it allows me to put in whatever else I want, Willie?
Listen, I'd rather play Al Franklin on Saturday Night Live before I play that other Franklin that you're talking about, sir. Not only no, but hell no. I think this game, the guy I'm interested in is give me Javonte and give me Denver's defense. I think that's one of the best combinations because this is another push thing. Who's going to push Denver? Who's going to push them?
Well, no, that's the problem is that Bryce Young is so bad, and Deontay's out that could we even play your boy Coker this week?
So first of all, listen, he's on suspension, that bastard, even though he helped me in FanDuel. Not only no, but hell no, we ain't playing Coker this week. No, sir. No, sir. This game is going to be ugly.
Willie, Permar's telling you that all the data points are there for Franklin. Do your research, Willie Walls, he says.
Franklin, I get it. I know this guy at 3,400. I forgot his name. It's supposed to be in play too. But you know what? You go ahead and trust that. I just think that this game could be 20-3, and they just going to just try to win this game and get it out of there. I see Knicks is showing up and they got 26 points, but something about this that I can't trust it.
Swami, can I go Knicks and Javonte, maybe throw in a Franklin or Sutton, be $16K for 3 starters and be on pace to score 200 points and take down a tournament?
Not just no, Doc, but hell no. I wouldn't play anybody in this game. I would avoid this game at all costs, especially when you bring in both quarterbacks are awful. I know you like Knicks. I know he's your guy. I know he's playing better, but just not enough. You can't trust him enough from a fantasy perspective.
Right, but does it allow me to get A.J. Brown in? Does it allow me to get Jamar Chase in? Does it allow me to get Breece Hall in? Does putting those three in open up my lineups?
It'll open them up, Doc, but it won't just be to Brown. All I can tell you.
I'll be bleeding on the roster. Is that what you're saying?
I do not think they're playing well enough from a fantasy perspective. We can't trust them. And in fact, I think the Denver defense could be a great play in this game, even though they're kind of expensive. And I think Charlotte might play hard enough. But Young has given us no reason to think that he is going to make this a game. So for that reason, they just pounded. Doc, control the game with Williams, run the clock, a couple of field goals.
Right, this game can be over by 6:42. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Chicago is playing Washington in a late game. I don't know whether Jaden Daniels plays. I would think that Jaden Daniels, I'm going to lean toward him not playing. Willie, for Washington, I don't see, assuming Daniels is out, I don't see any great plays here. But on the other side, Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. But Vegas sees this game at a 43 burger. Now, are they saying this game is going to be like 35-8? I mean, what's going on here?
I think he will play. I still don't like the other side. I think Swift is going to be in most of my lineups. I love Swift in this game going against the Commanders. I love Swift. Give me some Swift. I think more, and I think Caleb Williams is a guy of interest. I'm hoping that Daniels does play, then I definitely will be interested. But I don't mind a little because this game a lot of people not looking at, and I think a Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Swift stack, and I don't need to bring nothing back from the other side is very interesting in this game.
Swami, are you playing Caleb Williams? Are you playing DJ Moore?
I like them better if Daniels plays. If Daniels out, and just before the show, Doc, I heard some disturbing news that it really wasn't his ribs, that something about a nipple ring, and it was off.
That was some rumor I read on the internet just before we came on.
I won't repeat it here, but it was bad. It was all bad. So if he's not able to go, I don't know if I trust anything on that side of the ball. Even I know Mario. I know get his price down. I think it would bring the Chicago defense into play with Swift. But it's something about the way Williams playing. I think they want to get him going and keep him going regardless of what's going on the other side. So he can still have one of those kind of sneaky games where he had 250 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns. He could pull something like that off again, and Swift could still eat in that game as well. So I like. All right,
let's get to the FanDuel Sunday night game. It's Dallas against San Francisco. Micah Parsons is out. Man, doesn't this feel like Jordan Mason's going to run for 2 touchdowns? It just reeks of 2 touchdowns. I know he's going to cost, close to $9K on FanDuel. I don't think I care. I think I'm playing him. Willie, let's assume Mason is a lock. Is there anybody else in this game that plays, or is it just Mason?
I'm looking mostly at Mason, but what I'm not, I've looked at a couple of models, and one of the interesting, the guy that I saw that was on top of everything was Lamb. So I thought, that's not a bad, like if you want to, be contrarian. I mean, listen, Mason going to be there for me. Like I said, he's going to be a guy that I'm not even thinking about. And Swami and I, we were talking about Cowan. But I look beyond that thing. I said, oh, hell no, I ain't playing that bastard. So he ain't get a lot. He wasn't in there a lot when I looked at his snaps. So I did, even though I saw him flash a little bit. But yeah, those will be the guy for me is Mason. I'm gonna have a lot of Mason. I don't know about anybody else. I think Lamb I'll have in a couple of lineups, but Mason is gonna be a lock for me.
Swami, is it Mason for you, and is there anybody else?
Doc, Jackie Mason,
Perry Mason,
Mason Plumlee,
Anthony Mason,
Andrew Mason. It's just some of the Masons I play before I play this bastard. Let me tell you why.
Seriously, you're not playing Jordan Mason?
Doc, let me tell you something. This guy, we put a lot of trust in him a couple of times, and I watched this goofball fumble the ball and have my money cut in half.
You're taking this personally, Swami. Don't be business not personal. This is business.
This is the thing about fantasy. It's business, Doc. And there's people out there in fantasy land that agree with me that it becomes personal. Now, let me tell you something about him. 4 of his last 5 games, he's got single ladies. You know what single ladies, Doc? That's single-digit fantasy points. 9, 8, 8, and 7. The writing is on the wall. He's not running well, or they're not playing well. And you take those receivers out, and you take out the ability for them to kind of open up holes and get him going because they haven't. This offense is not the same. Maybe we need to phone a friend. Let's get Danger on here. This offense is not the same. He's not running well, and at that price, it's almost criminal to put him in a doggone lineup. No, thank you.
All right, you got $100 bill, Willie Walls. Give me the sneaky stack and the good stack. Let you give me two. Who's the $100 one going on?
I'll tell you what. Give me the last game because I think Daniels is playing. You give me Caleb Williams, you give me DJ Moore, and you give me Swift. I like them. I think they are ascending. And then I just like that stack. I think that's a very interesting stack. Now also give me Dobbs, give me Mr. Love, give me those two. I'll just take those two right there.
Swame, give me your secrets. Give me your stack for $100.
So Doc, if I got a fresh honey and money is not an object, then I might have Brown, Barkley, and Chase. But because money is an object, I'm not going to do that Willie Wall stuff, and I'm going to give you a legitimate playable stack. So I'm going to give you, again, going back to Atlanta, it was only a couple of weeks ago, and folks are kind of down on it. I'm going to go back to Mr. London, maybe Mooney, and Mr. Cousins, and I'm going to say come back and pick your guy you want to come back with. McMillan, even White. Pick who you want to come back with, but I still think I like that side of it because 500 yards, even if it's not 500, what are we saying he put up? 280, 320? He's not going from 500 to 100, right? I think they still got some holes back there. Baltimore lit them up. They couldn't stop anything. So I like the Atlanta side of it a lot. And if you just wanted one more, Doc, you say, give me a little bit more sneaky, Swami. I got you, Doc. How about we go with Mr. Richardson? And we come back with a Mixon. Remember how you described with a Mixon and the Schultz, or we take a Pierce and a Richardson and we
I like it.
I like it. Give you something like that. I won't take the Walls approach. But
my two sneaky stacks, I've discussed them already. One, Jameis Winston with Njoku and probably Judy. And yes, the delusional stack, the Bo Nix, Javonte Williams, and some Bronco receiver. The only reason I'm doing that is to be able to get in the Eagles and Bengals guys, maybe Breece Hall, maybe Brock Bowers, and just load up. Load up. If I'm right, I'm right. If not, I lose.
But I think Jameson lets you load up and maybe even doing something with the Bucks. You don't like taking a chance with Otten and McMillan and
Otten, McMillan. Yeah, that could do the same thing, right? And I don't need to go Baker Mayfield. I could go Jordan Love with those guys, right?
Yeah, but I think Tillman. I know I'm gonna have a Jameis, Tillman, and a Njoku. I'm gonna have that stack in there.
I may go Judy, but I like the Tillman too. It's going to be one of those two. I may do one with Tillman, one with Judy.
And then you can play that, like you said, that expensive game, and it makes sense, to play that expensive game, to try to get, to get something going there. So I like that.
All right, balls to the walls call from Willie Walls. Who you got?
Jake Bobo, Mr. Bobo for Seattle. I don't think Metcalf is going to play, and I think Geno's going to Geno. Well, you know what? They're going to be running the ball a lot, but one thing that I do like that Geno's been throwing that rock around. I like and I think it's going to be a back and forth type of game. I think this game could be more back and forth than what we think, and so I think unlike Atlanta just laid an egg last week. They laid an egg. I think this game could have a little back and forth in it.
I love it. I love the Bobo pick. Swami says.
Doc, the fact that we mentioned this, we didn't learn nothing from Coca last week. What the hell is going on in this show?
It's off the rails, Swami. The show's off the rails.
Jake Bobo. Anyway, I'm going to change this stuff to kick you in the balls play. This is Doc. This is outrageous. Anyway. So, Doc, I think because McMillan isn't much of a sleeper as I thought he would be, I watched some film on him. He looks very strong. He looks like he could fit firmly into the Mike Evans role.
Yes.
But no, they might want to use his speed a little bit different, might want to have maybe Trey on the outside. But I feel like they could also use him going over the middle. He has a little break tackle to him too. He has a little kind of run after the catch vibe. He could be this hybrid and kind of play in some, I would say, on some of the plays he could be on a Mike Evans, and some he could kind of fill in maybe a little bit for a Godwin kind of role. So I like him a lot. Well, let's just say that's just too easy. Then I don't want to give folks a Willie Walls. We really want to go deep sleepers. Somebody that
Can you just give me your pick already?
Yeah, I'm buying myself some time. Now, real quick. So one of the guys that I'm really thinking about. I don't know if we mentioned him as much, but I think you are on Judy, and I think I'm on Judy. I don't know again if that counts, but they are the two guys that I felt like were really sneaky that I really liked. I wanted to kind of go, deep sleeper, but Walls went deep enough for us all. Doc, let's get the Doc plays.
No, I think Jerry Judy's smart. I think it's because people are going to be on Tillman. I don't want to chase last week's points. I like Tillman, but I don't want to chase Tillman. I think my lock of the week is Dalton Schultz scoring a touchdown. I mean, Brenton Strange scored. Houston was embarrassed last week. Colts are just historically bad against tight ends here. I think people are playing Kate Otten. Nobody wants to play Schultz. I know there's money there, but I feel like Schultz is going to score. And I think that they're desperate in Houston for a win, a nice big win at home. So I think it's Dalton Schultz for me.
I think Dane just said it on the first look that he thought it was another two tight end. Walls called that last week. And I think it could be something there because I hear you liking a lot of tight ends, Doc. Don't be shy. Put one in the flex.
I love to look. I can imagine Bowers, Kelsey, Schultz, Ingram, Otten, any five of those guys. And Kincaid on FanDuel. I would be shocked if I don't play two tight ends this week because look, I like Bobo, I like Tillman, but the tight end. Give me 11 points. That might be enough to take down a tournament.
Yeah, Bobo will be a boo-boo.
All right, for Doc, Willie, and Swame, we tell you to be well and
Take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.
Carlo 2-run shot.